No one expected Dakota Johnson to drop a confession that would instantly break the internet, least of all during a casual, lighthearted interview. She was sitting comfortably on a sofa, sipping tea, laughing with the host about behind-the-scenes moments, when suddenly her expression shifted. Her eyes widened just a little, her lips curled into a mischievous smile, and she said, "There's something Jamie did once. Something that completely ruined one of the most serious scenes we ever filmed." The host froze, the audience gasped, and within seconds, the clip spread like wildfire across social media. The moment the words left her mouth, TikTok exploded. Fans clipped the exact second Dakota leaned closer to the microphone, as if she were about to reveal a national secret. Twitter threads erupted with wild theories. Was it a line he forgot? A stunt he messed up? A wardrobe malfunction? Or something far more embarrassing? People dissected her tone, her smile, the way she lifted her eyebrows like someone holding back laughter. This wasn't a typical confession. This was Dakota Johnson exposing a Jamie Dornan moment, and the world was hungry for details. She continued, her laugh growing louder as she recalled the day on set. According to Dakota, the cast and crew were filming one of the tensest scenes in the entire 50 Shades franchise, an emotional moment meant to capture heartbreak, distance, and longing. Everyone was quiet, the lights were perfectly placed, the cameras were rolling smoothly. The director whispered a final, "Action." And then, Jamie did the thing. The bad habit Dakota said she thought he had finally grown out of. For a split second, she hesitated before describing it. She placed her hand over her mouth, trying to keep composure, but her shoulders shook with laughter. "I can't believe I'm telling this," she said. "But he had this habit, this ridiculous habit, that would show up at the worst possible time." The host leaned in, eyes sparkling with curiosity. The audience leaned in. Even the cameraman zoomed in. And Dakota teased the reveal just a little bit longer, savoring the moment like a professional storyteller. Meanwhile, the internet was losing its collective mind. Fan pages flooded their feeds with slowed-down edits of Dakota saying, "Bad habit." Memes popped up instantly. Jamie laughing uncontrollably, Jamie tripping over props, Jamie eating snacks on set. Theories grew increasingly chaotic. Some insisted he got the giggles whenever scenes got too intense. Others claimed he tended to ask incredibly random questions mid-scene. A few even said he would accidentally slip back into his Irish accent during the most serious lines. But no one knew for sure. Dakota took a deep breath, then launched into the full story. It happened during a close-up, she explained, a scene where her character was supposed to break down emotionally. The atmosphere was so heavy that even the crew felt it. You could hear a pin drop on set. She delivered her lines with tears in her eyes, heart pounding, voice trembling. She looked straight into Jamie's eyes, eyes that were supposed to reflect the same level of intensity. And then, he did it. The bad habit. According to Dakota, Jamie suddenly looked at her with a completely straight face, held his breath, then burst into uncontrollable, unstoppable laughter. Not a small laugh, not a polite chuckle, a full, body-shaking, "I can't breathe," explosion of laughter that shattered the entire scene. Dakota said she stared at him in disbelief, wiping away her tears not because of the character's emotions, but because she was trying so hard not to laugh at how red his face had become. The entire crew collapsed into giggles. The director buried his face in his hands. The makeup team sighed knowing they'd have to redo everything. And Jamie? He apologized between gasps for air, waving his hands helplessly and saying, I swear, it wasn't my fault. Your face was just," before bursting into laughter again. Dakota admitted she couldn't even be mad at him. It was impossible. His laughter was too contagious. As she recounted this moment in the interview, Dakota wiped tears from her eyes, this time from laughter, not heartbreak. "It ruined the entire scene," she confessed. "We had to restart from the beginning. The director banned Jamie from looking directly at me for the next 5 takes." The clip ended on the exact moment the host asked, "So what is this bad habit?" Dakota smiled slyly, leaned closer to the microphone, and just as she opened her mouth to reveal the truth, the video cut. The world screamed. Everyone needed to know. What exactly was Jamie's habit? What made Dakota break character in the middle of the film's most emotional scene? And why did the clip end at the exact second she was about to expose him? The truth, fans knew, would be even better than the rumor. The internet was still screaming when the full interview finally dropped. Fans rushed to watch it like it was the season finale of a blockbuster series, desperate to hear the words that had been cut off in the viral clip. The moment Dakota leaned into the microphone, teasing the reveal, felt even more electric in the full version. She bit her lip, glanced at the host, then broke into that unmistakable grin, the one she always made right before roasting Jamie Dornan with surgical precision. "Okay," she said, holding back another laugh. "Jamie has this terrible habit. He cannot stay serious when he's looking directly into my eyes." The host blinked, confused. Dakota continued, "I don't mean he giggles a little. I mean he completely collapses into laughter. No matter how intense the scene is. No matter how heartbreaking or dramatic. If he makes eye contact with me for more than 3 seconds, he loses it." She spread her hands dramatically. "And I lose it, and then the director loses his mind." Fans immediately recognized the pattern. Suddenly, all those outtakes from 50 Shades, the ones where Jamie turned red, hid behind props, or bent over in hysterics, made perfect sense. Dakota explained that it wasn't intentional. Jamie didn't sabotage scenes on purpose. It was a reflex, some twisted emotional defense mechanism. "He told me once that my serious crying face triggers something in his brain," she admitted. "I still don't know whether to be offended or honored." The full interview played the original story from the set. Dakota retold how she had been in full emotional meltdown mode during filming. Tears streaking down her cheeks. Voice trembling. The whole cast holding their breath. And Jamie, who was supposed to deliver his most solemn line of the entire film, suddenly made a tiny noise in his throat. Dakota described it as the sound of someone trying, failing, and then catastrophically failing again to hold back laughter. "And when I heard that tiny sound," Dakota said, shaking her head, "I knew I was doomed. I looked up, and there it was. His face turning red, his lips pressed together, his eyes watering from the effort. And the moment I saw that, I lost it too." The host laughed so hard he nearly fell off the sofa. But Dakota wasn't finished. She revealed that the scene was ruined not once, but 7 times. Jamie tried everything. Looking at the ceiling, staring at the floor, directing his gaze at a plant in the corner of the room, biting his lip, holding his breath, even tapping his leg in some bizarre actor ritual. Nothing worked. Every time their eyes met, they both combusted into uncontrollable laughter, undoing makeup, ruining lighting, and forcing the exhausted crew to start all over again. "There was one take," Dakota said, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes, "where Jamie literally turned his entire body away from me and tried delivering his lines to the wall. The director yelled, 'Jamie, she's over here.' And Jamie yelled back, 'I know, that's the problem.'" That single quote spread across social media like lightning. Fans turned it into memes within minutes. TikTok creators reenacted dramatic scenes while turning to stare at the wall. Twitter exploded with jokes. One fan even wrote, "Jamie Dornan avoiding eye contact with Dakota Johnson is the most relatable anxiety habit I've ever seen." But the interview wasn't just laughter. Near the end, Dakota's voice softened. She admitted that Jamie's habit wasn't just silly, it came from something deeper. "Jamie feels everything really intensely," she explained. "When the scene gets emotional, he gets overwhelmed. Laughing is his way of grounding himself. It's how he releases the tension." The host's smile faded into something gentler. Dakota nodded. "It used to frustrate the directors, but to me, it's one of the things I love most about working with him. He brings humanity into every scene, even when the pressure is insane." She paused then, looking down with a fond smile. "Honestly, his laughter kept me sane during those films. It turned some of the hardest days into memories I'll never forget." When the interview ended, the internet's tone shifted. The jokes continued, But now they were paired with affection, admiration, and a whole lot of nostalgia. People shared their favorite Jamie-Dakota behind-the-scenes moments. Others commented on how rare it was to see two actors talk about each other with so much warmth after so many years. And Jamie? Within an hour, he posted the most Jamie Dornan response imaginable. A selfie of him staring at a wall, with the caption, "Doing my best, JD." The entire internet melted. And Dakota, laughing as she reshared the post, wrote beneath it, "You'll always ruin my dramatic scenes. And honestly, thank God for that."